politicsdoneright.com, publishers of How to Make America Utopia, Take Away the Economy from Those Who Rigged It, As I See It, Class Warfare, The Only Resort to Right-Wing Doom, It's Worth It, How to Talk to Your Right-Wing Relatives, Friends, and Neighbors, and other books written by Egberto Willis. Welcome to Politics Done Right. My name is Egberto Willis, your host. Good morning, Houston. Good morning, Harris County. Good morning to the great state of Texas. Good morning, Northeast Texas, Southeast Texas, Northwest Louisiana, Southwest Louisiana, and every nook and cranny receiving the signals from our 100,000 watt transmitter into those magical boxes known as the radio. Good morning to the entire world listening to us via the internet, really known when it was created as ARPANET, created by your intellect, the intellect of we the people, the dollars, the tax dollars of we the people, not we the billionaires. They've created absolutamente nada, absolutely nothing. Do remember that the billionaires are a figment of the imagination of the capitalist structure. It has nothing to do with those who actually do the work, those who have the intellect, those who create things, those who create products and services. Anyway, folks, before we get started today, we go to the geniuses in the control room. El Señor Howard Reynolds and Jacques Van Bibba.
Well, I would like to be one of those figments of the imagination, one of those billionaires. That would be good. Because then I never have to worry about money again.
Yeah.
Or maybe that would be the only thing I would worry about. Oh, my money, my money.
That's what they do.
Oh yeah, the rich, they don't have it as easy as the rest of us do, because they have the burden of worrying about their money all the time. Oh my gosh, my investments, my money, my money. Well, hell, when you don't have any, you don't have any worries. Or you got more of them. You just have different ones. Speaking of money, we still are in pledge drive this morning, and our interim general manager is standing by his microphone to check in this morning. Good morning, Sandy. How are you?
Well, I'm sitting, not standing. Let's start with that. I'm doing well, though. Thank you, Howard.
Good.
Good morning, everybody.
You have your coffee?
I do have my coffee. This represents the start of day number 8 of our fund drive, scheduled to go all of 11 days. That's right till Sunday, and then it is done. We need to keep pace here. We're closing in on our overall goal, which would mean that KPFT is in a really good place through the start of October. So far, we've collected $57,214 from 375 individual donations. We really appreciate it. Like I said, we're closing in on that goal, but we're not there yet. We still have about another $17,000 and change to go, but we can close that gap this morning with the first person to pledge on this Thursday morning, August 22nd, the call to 713-526-5738. Hit option 1. You don't like the phone, go to kpft.org and click donate. Get a Politics Done Right t-shirt or a donation of $100 this morning. Community radio depends on you and not on commercials. However, a few times a year, specifically 4 right now, and I hope 3 as we travel down the road together in years to come, we come to you and we ask you to fund KPFT. There is no Corporation for Public Broadcasting funding. In fact, grants are almost non-existent. The money comes from the listener by and large, and that's what we're asking for now. Thank you. Let's get on with Politics Done Right.
Thank you, Sandy. Muchas gracias, mi hermano. Hey, Jacques, I know it's your time, man. Let's see if you're going to do what you always damn well do.
Well, this time I'm not going to do it. I read your post this morning, and one item came out that really shows some changing going on. Republican Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan says the GOP has gone crazy, as if we didn't already know this. The GOP is under the influence of corporate fascism. Duncan is right to speak this inconvenient truth. A vote for Kamala Harris just may make you a patriot.
Well, let's hope so.
Yeah,
Because, yes, the Republican Party has been taken over. Just now, what was it? Donald Trump Jr. or one of those people said, "This is the new MAGA Republican Party. We own this party now." and,
yeah.
and there's a lot of Republicans saying, "Oh, no, you don't."
Well,
Yeah.
it is amazing because now they're talking about this at the end of this week, maybe today or tomorrow, that Bob Kennedy is going to drop out of the independent campaign and endorse Donald Trump if they can find a place to put him. And then Donald Trump Jr. says, "Yeah, we can find listen to how he phrased it, Howard. We can find a place to put Robert into one of these departments so he can just get rid of it." In other words, they want him to go work in a department to trash it. I mean, these
Oh,
guys are great.
well, yeah, that is a common thing to do. You put an inept manager or an inept department head in, and then the whole thing just falls apart
Yeah,
because most of the people don't like working with inept people.
yeah,
Well,
yeah,
what I'm saying is they tend to flub things. They get in a position and they corrupt it. It doesn't work right, but they're using it for a different purpose. So they just flub it real bad.
Gosh, I hope it's not the Department of Trash. That would be a good
yeah,
place for it.
yeah. Anyway, let's get busy here. Today is Thursday. If today is Thursday, it is Aquino's day. So welcome to Politics Done Right. It's Thursday. Before I bring Aquino in, I want to say this, guys. I remember when we started doing this stuff daily. We got an email that said, Alberto liked the program, all that kind of stuff, but you need to do some local stuff as well. And then I said, yeah, well, I know people, and I know one of the best, the folks that's doing a whole lot of good local stuff is from the Houston Democracy Project. Founder is who again? Neil Aquino. So I called up Neil and I said, "Hey Neil, can you come and do?" The idea was, I was going to bring it a Thursday or whatever, and then Thursday went by and Neil didn't show up, and somebody is like, "Where the hell is Neil?" And I'm like, oh, well, Neil said he couldn't make. And I said, "Hey, Neil, you got to do something about that, dude. You got to be here on Thursday morning, dude. All right." But
Right.
this is like when I tell you guys that you have agency in the program in here at KPFT. That's what I'm talking about. Tell me what station you can go to and say, well, we like this, we like that. And if the host has the wherewithal to do it, does it, right? Neil does a hell of a lot of work. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. All right, good. This was your request. And like I also tell you, the subjects, many times you guys call in, I write a complete show, but you guys change the show today. You have agency. So I'm asking you for that agency, for that support, that mutual support that we have in this program. I ask that you call us at 713-526-5738 and support the program, please. Right now, we're asking, you can call and support in any way, give whatever you want, whatever you can. But one of the requests that we ask, if you can, is to go ahead and become a sustainer. And that means giving us a coffee a month, 2 coffees a month, 3, 4, 5 coffees a month, meaning 5, 10, 15, 20 bucks a month, whatever you can. Become a sustainer, and that way we can budget, not we, Sandy and his crew can budget better as far as how, what we are able to do here at KPFT to make a better station for you. I was about to say a better radio station for you, but we are more than radio. To make a better community communication group for you. So please give us a call at 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to contribute, or go to kpft.org and click on donate, select Politics Done Right as the program you're donating under, and please become a sustainer, get a t-shirt, or give us whatever you can. Could you please do that now so that I can thank you on air? Anyhow, without further delay, Neil Aquino, founder of the Houston Democracy Project at houstondemocracyproject.org. Neil.
Very good. Very good. Thank you for the words, and good morning, local and global audience of Politics Done Right. And that subject brought up earlier of Republicans endorsing Harris is I think one of the topics we're going to sort of touch on today.
Yes, sir. Go for it.
Our Houston City Councilwoman, Abby Kamen. So Houston City Council, Abby Kamen, and she's my councilwoman in District C, and she represents Heights and Montrose and all that. And she's a conventional Democrat. And I know her a little bit. I'll reference her as Abby. And Abby made a tweet. Well, Abby was watching the convention. And she made a tweet, really want to convey my respect for those in the GOP stepping up with courage to speak out tonight. We don't agree on everything, but we strive for compromise and a rational middle where we can, carrying the message of John McCain, country before party, right? And John McCain, we could spend a whole episode on Trump mocking the troops and mocking service and all that. But what struck me about that tweet, that's fine for Councilwoman Kamen to praise someone 500 miles, 1,000 miles, 2,000 miles away, a Republican. But she sits next to 6 Republicans. There are 6 Republicans on Houston City Council: Ramirez, Carter, Davis, Huffman, Peck, and Flickinger. She could ask them. Not one of them has said openly and clearly that I'm not voting for Donald Trump, right? Not one of them. And these people are not caricatures. Egberto and I were talking on the air a little bit before about the at-large councilman Julian Ramirez, and Ramirez has done some relatively thoughtful things. Ramirez visited the Union Pacific Cancer Cluster when new to council because it was a thing. When he was a candidate for judge in 2022, a Republican Harris County candidate, he lost by a thin margin. And he told me, we talked at a campaign event in 2023, that he didn't file the lawsuit. And there's a few other things. But Councilman Ramirez, for example, is actively campaigning for the Republican DA nominee, Dan Simons, who did file an election suit and hits all the Trump talking points and all the Ken Paxton talking points. And Mike Knox, the Republican sheriff nominee, has said that he will use SB 4, the state law, to initiate mass deportations. He has said, I think he used the word flex. I will use it to flex. I will flex state law to begin mass deportations. That's a whole nother hour we could spend on that subject. So Councilwoman Kamen, that's great that you're praising someone, but what we need are political leaders who will confront not just the extremism on the TV, but she's sitting next to 6 people supporting extremists. And every one of the 10 members of council, 10 Democrats, there are 10 Democrats and 6 Republicans on council. And then the Democratic mayor, Mayor Whitmire, even Mayor Whitmire has endorsed Harris, right? So, and not such a heavy lift. So ask your Democratic city council member to turn to the extremists next to them: Ramirez, Carter, Davis, Huffman, Peck, and Flickinger. Flickinger represents Egberto in district council person, and ask them, why do you support someone who promises violence if he loses, dictatorship if he wins, bloodbaths of violence, mocks the troops, and on and on and on. All the things well detailed here on Politics Done Right. And some local courage, would really be appreciated.
That is so true. You know, before you're bringing up the DNC that's occurring right now, and I tell you the one thing that I did admire, not only from what Obama had to say, not only what Clinton had to say, not only what Buttigieg had. Well, Buttigieg didn't quite get there last night, even though he appears on Fox News often. But it is something that we preach here, and that is, let's everybody should have the latitude to be who they are. I have nothing against being a Republican. Like I said all of the times, there is value into looking at those people who believe in small government, which used to be a Republican mantra, and right-sized government, which is what progressives like me and you want. It is, America has to determine if it really wants, if you have small government, these are the policies that stand. Do you want to live within those constraints? If you want right-sized government, these are the policies. If you want to live within those constraints, those things are not right or wrong. They're choices that we make. I give the reason why I think progressive values are more humane. The right would say individualism, rugged individualism,
Sure.
is what we believe in. That's fine. Those aren't inherently evil, opposing things at all. But that's not where we are today. So when you
Right.
go ahead and you say city council, they don't speak up, what we are asking people to do is not to not be Republican. We're
Right.
asking people to be democratic and humane. Two things:
Right.
democratic and humane. The other things we can fight about what people want more. We happen to know, based on polls, that most Americans want the policies progressives are pushing forward. Go ahead. I see you
And
wanted to add to that.
there are 330 million people, so there's going to be more than one political party, right? I mean, there
Right.
should probably be more than two.
There should be
And
10. Yeah.
there should be, yeah, and and one thing you have to not let them do is marginalize you for asking them to support candidates who aren't seditionists, because these candidates, these people will. Ramirez is a perfect example, and Twyla Carter, who used to work at the Astros Foundation, um, who, although she voted against a $12 million city program to subsidize child care, right? She said she had concerns about how, right? So, you know, but like I called Councilwoman Carter. She's at large. She lives in Kingwood. She's an at large councilwoman, and for the whole city, she called me back. Okay, that's great, and told me why she voted against that $12 million program. But they use these tactics. Oh no, I call them back, right? And no, let's talk about a rational. They'll use this de-escalating language while they're sitting there supporting someone who would take your freedom,
Right.
or silent about someone who would take your freedom. I don't know. I wouldn't. I'm certain. I would wager good money that not all these council people are voting for Trump. And the thing is, I've seen repeated story. So they want to marginalize you. Oh no, you're making it too flat. You're making it too binary. You're making it too black and white. I'm not even asking you to stop being a Republican like you just said. I'm just saying, look, don't vote for a seditionist. And how did we get to this point? How did we get to this point? I would just, and we need to realize that the extremism is local. We keep wanting to, it's that person on the television, it's Trump, it's Abbott, it's Paxton, it's that person, it's that statewide authority. But authoritarianism requires a local infrastructure. So
Exactly.
so Councilman Ramirez, he goes by Julian. It's not, he doesn't go by Julian, he goes by Julian. That's my understanding of his choice. And um, when when they need 10,000 votes to overturn an election here in Harris County, let's say our sheriff, Ed Gonzalez, has defeated Mike Knox by 10,000 votes. And as you and I were talking about before we went on the air, Ken Paxton is going around claiming that non-citizens are being registered to vote, going after immigration groups. There's this whole narrative that non-citizens are being allowed to vote in our federal elections, which is all about come the day after the election, they'll be saying, no, 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 no. These non-citizens do it. So they are undermining our freedom, undermining our futures, and the local officials are silent about the extremism or assist the extremism, and they shouldn't be allowed because at the moment they're Houston at-large. Mike Knox was for 8 years a Houston at-large city council member. He shouldn't have been. There shouldn't be any right-wing figure on Houston at-large council. There should be some. There should be some in the districts. There's 5 at-large and 11 districts. Now that Knox is running for sheriff, he's giving you every right-wing talking point in the world, right? He didn't give all that right-wing stuff. He was conservative on councils. You don't even know what the hell he believes. You don't even know what he believes because it was situational to what office he was in. But they're moderate now. They run for something else. They'll be giving you every Trump point until Trumpism falls out of vogue, and then we're giving you some other point.
Yeah, and those double talkers are those that we should be defeated, in my opinion. But we have Johnny on the line. So, brother Johnny, come on in. Great to have you here.
Okay, guys. So I agree with Robert Reich when it comes to the size of government, how big or how small it should be. He says, and he's correct in pointing out that we should not be looking at whether government is too big, but who's behind the government and what they want to accomplish with it. So, for example, Republicans, they pretend that they don't like a big government because they don't want Democrats to be in charge with big government. Why? Because they don't want us to tell them and regulate them and watch them when it comes to TARP money, like Barack Obama gave them back in the day. Otherwise, if there's no enforcement for the contracts that they agreed to, they get to do what they want, and that's exactly what happened. They were supposed to hire American citizens, remember, to clean up the mess from the hurricane after Katrina and Rita. But what they do? They brought a whole bunch of undocumented people for real cheap, and they pocketed the difference. So the size of government means you don't tell women's clinics how wide the hallway should be or how many gurneys they need. No, that's ridiculous sized government. Government's supposed to be, hey, you Republicans, here's the money, these are the rules you agreed to, and now we're going to enforce it. Enforcement, that's part of the job of government. And the Democrats have a horrible history of not doing that. And as a result, Republicans run circles around us, and I hate that kind of government.
I can't argue with anything you just said, brother. Absolutely nothing. Neil, want to address that at all?
The arguments over size of government are... no, I guess no, I don't.
Okay, well, let me just...
I believe, government can make a difference, and, that's government can make a productive difference. That's been part of the point of the Democratic Convention. And these arguments over size, thank you for the call, and it's important to make the point, but I don't know if they have anything to add to that discussion this morning.
But I tell you, I do want to add something to it because I want to add a story. And I don't know if you heard about this one. I think that the flavor of what Johnny wants to bring in is pretty much a hypocrisy of government size. Because as he stated, during Katrina, one of the tenets was that all the cleanup and stuff was supposed to be done using American labor, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And what the capitalists did is they went ahead and said, yeah, we Americans will sign those contracts, but the labor that fulfilled those jobs, hey, guess what? We're going to get some very cheap labor. We're going to bring folks across the border. They didn't complain in Louisiana then about all those people coming across the border to drive into Louisiana and do the cleanup. So it's always a hypocritical thing. But here's a kicker. Ben Sass, I don't know if you guys remember that Senator Ben Sass. Ben Sass
Right.
became the chair, the president of a Florida university, and
Of
his
the system.
spending,
Of the system.
yeah, the system, and during that time, he spent, I think, 5 times more than the previous president. Hired a
Right.
whole bunch of his Republican staffers who didn't show up to Florida. They stayed in
Right.
Washington, D.C., where they worked. And somehow
Right.
millions of dollars got spent, right? Of
Right.
course, now that it's in the open, Governor DeSantis wants to go ahead and see where it worked. But when they asked the university system, hey, how could all that money be spent? They went through the proper channels. 5 times or more the amount of money spent on travel and on expenses by Ben Sass, these small government guys, using
Well, remember,
government money.
that's not the only hypocrisy. Remember, he was supposed to be, thoughtful. Remember the national media, their
Yeah,
articles. He was looking at bipartisan. He was thoughtful. Will he endorse Trump or not? Remember, will he endorse,
yes,
right? And then he went DeSantis, did DeSantis's bidding. And you saw at that new college, it's called New College, in
yeah,
Florida, which had been the one place, one of the rare places in Florida where a liberal or progressive young Floridian could go. I was not aware of it before DeSantis, but it's a state school.
hmm
It made a lot of publicity. And they changed the curriculum out of cruelty. They got rid of
hmm
all these professors. It was the one place. It was a refuge for progressive young Floridians and whoever else went there. And they got rid of the gender studies and the LGBT programs, and they threw out the books. They threw out the books. There were pictures of books in the dumpster. They didn't quite burn them, at least not publicly. But it was just cruelty for cruelty's sake, dispensing books and just trashing it. And they don't even want they just would hope that everyone progressive and thoughtful, not that only progressives are thoughtful, would leave the state. And this guy Sass was supposed to be some thoughtful guy, but he saw the money, he saw he saw his chances and took them.
Yeah, well, anyway, I forgot that we need to do some pitching, guys. Hey, Patrick and Bard, we'll be with you in a minute, but we need to get some moolah in here. Hey, guys, look, we always say, even though we're in Fund Drive, we give you a full program, which is what we try to do. But in the same token, we want to kindly, respectfully ask that you give us a call at 713-526-5738 and support the program. There are many, many ways you can support the program. We're asking right now for sustainers. Why sustainers? We actually get some bonuses from a few people that says, hey, if you bring in sustainers, we'll add another $50 on top of it. So please give us a call at 713-526-5738, extension number 1. Go ahead and say, yes, I want to support this program that always supports us. Please go ahead, go to kpft.org, hit that donate button, support us now so that I can go ahead and thank you. We're 28 minutes into the program, and Sandy is going to get kind of edgy if, the manager of KPFT is going to get kind of edgy if we don't do our part here at Politics Done Right, for them to be able to say, okay, we'll keep Politics Done Right on air. So let me pass it to Sandy so that Sandy can say, hey, guys, give me some money, give me some moolah. We need it. Sandy.
Well, we're yet to receive a donation. And again, this is marks day number 8 of our drive. It's just today and tomorrow for the weekdays, and then we should be done. But we'll only be done if enough of you step up and fund our radio station. 54 and a half years of community support, That's no mistake. It means that you're hearing our voices because over that time, the station's been funded by so many people that have called in and have done their part. You decide how much to give. I might suggest that you join in first person today. Come on, let's get some sustainers. $5 a month or $10 a month. We have t-shirts. We have a blues cruise on September 28th. That is going to be a $150 or $1,250 instant pledge or $12.50. This is a 3-hour tour of Clear Lake with Nuri Nuri playing blues for you on the boat and many of your fellow listeners. There's still room. We've sold a lot of tickets on that, but there's still room. Please call us to support community radio, commercial-free, listener-sponsored, volunteered, powered radio in Houston. It's like none other in this town. It's been here for a long, long time. We air Democracy Now! We air Politics Done Right. We have programs where you can call in like this one or you talk. We have some great music on this station, but all of it requires support, and it begins here. It begins here in the morning with this program to get us started. We have a $300 goal. So far, we've yet to receive a pledge 31 minutes into the program with hundreds, thousands of you listening right now. And it would be great if a couple of you took that step to fund this station, especially if you've never given before. Please become our next new member. Our phone number where you donate is 713-526-5738. The 5738 spells out KPFT on those phones that still have alphas above the numerics. Come on now. If you don't like the phone or don't have a phone, but you got a computer and a mouse, you can go to kpft.org, click the mouse in the house on donate and make your donation that way. But take that step to become the next member or renewing member of KPFT. We cannot do this without you. And like I said, we need to hear from a few of you. Yesterday was a little bit slow, although I want to thank Quinn over at Cactus Records. They made a really nice donation in being able to broker some vinyl that somebody donated. So that kind of saved the day. That doesn't happen each and every day. Please, folks, we've been doing this now for a week. We've got today and tomorrow, and then hopefully we are done. It's not easy on the staff down here, none of the staff. And we wake up really early in the morning to start talking to you to keep this radio station going strong. And we're here throughout the day. But right now, Politics Done Right, still bereft of the first contribution. Change that. 713-526-5738. Egberto, shields up,
Thank you,
arm photon torpedoes. Back to you.
Thank you so kindly, Sandy. Thank you. And hey, look, guys, I ask you kindly as well. We really need we really need your support. The truth of the matter is I got carried away, Neil, Johnny, all of that, when I should have been saying, hey guys, please contribute. Please contribute. We need it now. I know there are a lot of you that think, I'll contribute another time, or maybe the next person or somebody is going to do it. That person really has to be you. Look, your cable company never have to ask you to go ahead and pay the bill. And you know what? You're paying for, some of this stuff good, but you're paying also for stuff who are telling you, giving you a lot of misinformation. To put it bluntly also, you are paying somebody to sell your eyeballs. Think about that. You are paying them to give you them the right to sell you stuff. You are paying to give them the right to sell you stuff. When you contribute to Politics Done Right or to KPFT via Politics Done Right, it's nothing like that. We are just given. Look, look. Really, Bart is up, but I'm going to jump Bart just because Kendall. I hadn't seen that name before, so let's bring Kendall in, and Bart, I come to you next. Or Patrick, then Bart. Come on in, Kendall. Are you there, Kendall? Okay. Put Kendall on hold. Let's go to Patrick then. All right, let's see. Come on in. Patrick, how you doing, my dear brother?
Yeah, I was waiting for you to say good morning. Hey, it sounds
Talk.
like we are discussing the size of government. Can you think of an example elsewhere where a shrinking government has improved people's quality of life, people's overall wellness?
No,
And
no.
is the model of shrinking a government working anywhere?
Absolutely not. But that's the reason why, if you notice what I said, brother Patrick, is that most Americans are progressives who want a right-sized government, a government that does things, right? Now, what you find is those people who have capital are the ones who want to talk about a small government because, again, as they acquire capital, the selfish gene sets in, right? And somehow they believe they've earned it all, not realizing that in our economic system, you didn't earn that all. We all collectively did that. But anyway, you know what I think. Go ahead, Patrick.
I agree. I agree. And the comment about Kennedy being put in somewhere to essentially
Destroy it.
sabotage a branch of government. What if government needs shrinking, which you and I both think it does not? If it does need shrinking, then why are we having to put people in place to sabotage something? Something should already
Thank
be
you.
falling apart without having to
You nailed it.
assign somebody who's against the best interest of that branch of government to run it. Like the Secretary of the Interior seems to be almost always in the oil company, petroleum
Right.
industry. And that just makes no sense. So you need to ask yourself, well, if these people are telling me the truth, then how do I reconcile these points? If government's not working, then why are we having to sabotage it
Hey,
to shrink? And then
Patrick.
and then when we're quote unquote shrinking these branches, we're not shrinking them. We're taking something that the commons paid for, bought, and developed, and handing it off at a discount to a billionaire who essentially will ruin it.
Exactly.
It's
And
not
you're,
going
you're
away.
starting to you're talking
Sabotage.
Russia now, that which is exactly what they did when they became. Russia is a capitalist country, right? And that's what they did in their form of capitalism. China is a capitalist country. People like to equate capitalism with democracy. There's nothing that makes a capitalist country a democracy. In fact, it is very far from in fact, it is an anti-democratic institution. But we talk about that another time, Patrick, because my phones are filled. Thank you so kindly for calling. And I need to ask folks to please give us a call at 713-526-5738. 713-526-5738. I am still at zero, my dear brothers and sisters. Do you really want to leave politics done right at zero? So that guy who just spoke before, named Sandy, says, well, Egberto, here comes the cutting block. This show didn't make the quota, so we got to go.
Egberto,
713. Go ahead.
let me make a brief pitch. And also for 10 seconds on that size of government issue. You watch Houston City Council meetings. All they're talking about is expanding the city. Water filtration plants, parks. Where do we find the revenues? How do we get rid of the revenue cap? That's actually one of the most consistent themes. And I just want to make a pitch for Politics Done Right. I'm very happy to be here on Thursday mornings and appreciate the studio crew and Egberto allowing it. Everything Egberto says about that callers and listeners can influence the show is exactly right. It's what he says off the air. There's newsletter, there's preparation that goes into this. Egberto does a lot of work. His listener-centered ethic is exactly what he talks about off the air, bringing me in to talk about local stuff. And he gives me an opportunity as a grassroots activist to have this platform, which I deeply appreciate. So he really does live the values that he is talking about. It's very much worthy of support, and I hope that I'm a contributor, and I hope that folks will be able to pledge today.
Thank you so kindly for that. Thank you so kindly for that. Let me go to Kendall, and then I'm going to jump to Standy again. I'm going to get all of you guys in, I promise. But, we're in Fund Drive, and I want to give you a show as we do Fund Drive. So let's get to Kendall. Come in, Kendall.
Egberto, thank you for the time. I just want to throw a pitch to KPFT. My wife and I, Jan, we've been contributors for years, like 20 years. But recently, this year, we became sustainers at $25 a month. Recently, I contacted the station and challenged those that are $25 donors, or sustainers, should I say, you double it to $50. So I did that, and I'm proud of that. But I'd like to challenge those that donate. If you have it in your budget, please double it. KPFT is a wonderful thing. They're doing good work. Thank you.
Thank you so kindly for that, Kendall. I really do appreciate you. I appreciate your support. And let me tell you, you are valued for giving others the opportunity, for even those who are not giving right now. We all learn together. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, Sandy, come on in, and then I'll jump to Bart.
Thank you, Egberto. And Kendall, thank you for that notion. If you are already a sustainer, say at $5 a month, perhaps you can throw a few dollars into the kitty, maybe make it $10 a month. Once you try that program and you realize that once a month, $5 gets drafted from your checking account, charged to your favorite credit card, and you look at it and you go, oh, okay. I mean, many of us, that's not too much of an amount. That's like the taxes or fees on that cell phone bill, or perhaps on that cable bill. That little portion of it is what KPFT is able to survive on. That's because we have one employee. That's because we have a cadre of volunteers, and we watch every penny very carefully. A little later today, we're going to have some work done on our building from damage from Hurricane Beryl. These are expenses that perhaps we should be budgeting for, but as it is, the budget is cut so far that even a maintenance line is really skinny. Yeah, we have enough to repair the building, and we'll be okay with that. But, we're looking at operations that consume $52,000 a month. Now, if you've been listening to this show for a while and you've been hearing us pitch but have yet to respond to that, think about it. The only way you're hearing it is because other people are paying for it, and you have the privilege of doing so. If you're in a position to help out and become part of the listening community that donates, become radioactive, it would be appreciated by all the other folks that are doing that already. So, Kendall, you kind of nailed it. Those of you with a sustainer, add another couple bucks to it, or make a one-time additional pledge. But even better yet, those that have not pledged, please step up, share the load. Come on now, 713-526-5738, option 1, or kpft.org. For a $120 gift, that's $10 a month. All of our thank you gifts may be carved up into monthly payments or sustaining payments, either way. For $10 a month, we'll send you a Caroline Street coffee mug. This is a graphic drawn by Jill Morgenstern, who one of our programmers that's currently recovering from some medical issues. And she drew this on, and it's on the mug, and also a bag of coffee beans from Lola Savannah. So you'll be able to have coffee and a KPFT mug for a $10 a month contribution. And wake up while you listen to the show, as I'm doing right now, 713-526-5738, or kpft.org. This is really serious stuff, folks. We're 45 minutes into this program this morning, meaning that we should be well on our way to our $300 goal, skinny goal. And yet, as I look, we've gotten, we did get a couple of pledges.
We just got it. So, yeah, we just got one. Did you? I saw one. I haven't seen the second one, but I want to give a big thank you to Rene. Muchísimas gracias, mi hermano. Thank you so kindly, my brother. That is a great sustainer. We need about 4 more of those, and I'll be happy. Folks, give us a call. 71. Did you finish, Sandy?
I just I just want to say yes, thank you, and also to Brian Helvinka, who hosts Queer Voices on our schedule. He made a nice donation as well. Thank you for that, Brian. He works as a volunteer providing content, and he's providing money as well. So, you got people out there that are really, really anxious to keep this radio station. I hope you're one of them. Renee from Bel Air, thank you very much for being the first to donate on this Thursday morning. Please join Renee. And Renee did so as a sustainer. Come on. $5 a month,
And yeah,
$10 a month, we can all get together. We could end this drive this morning with all the people listening if you climb on board. Get excited about
Brian,
it. There's nothing else like this. We're not selling you stuff. We're not filling your eyeballs with commercials. And we talked about it the other day. The commercials repeat themselves now, and you're paying for that. My
yeah.
God, what a Go
Hey,
ahead,
Brian,
Egberto.
thank you for that kind contribution as well, my brother. I really appreciate that. All right, let's go to Brother Bard. Brother Bard, come on in. Bard, are you
I
there?
would like to. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yes, sir.
Yes, I just wanted to get back to the show, and I heard Neil's opening monologue. I just had a question for Neil and the host. Neil, do you think that illegal aliens should be allowed to vote in our elections? Is that what you're saying?
I don't know what I said that I don't know what I said that would lead to that conclusion.
You said that the Republicans were going to challenge the election because illegal aliens were allowed to vote.
No, that's not what I said. Please, I said
That was
that.
wrong.
Thank you for calling. I said that Republicans are making up stories about illegal aliens voting, but it ain't happening.
Okay. So you agree they should not be allowed to vote?
Yeah, right. I believe that persons who are undocumented here, you should not be allowed to vote. But it's not happening. It's not. It's like worrying about our people from Jupiter
Oh,
voting. There's nobody. There's nobody. It's
oh
not
yes,
happening.
sir. Yes, sir. It is. There's plenty of evidence of it. So let's skip over. This is the first time I agree with Johnny. Talking about the illegals that went to New Orleans. Yeah, the problem, Johnny, was the law was not enforced, and that is the problem. We
I
had
think
the
I
same
problem.
thing here with the hurricane. And go ahead.
Yeah. The problem is that there's a narrative that isn't true, and it's important to push back, push back, push back, because the narrative is being used to take our democracy. The narrative is being used to set a platform where this election, where election results aren't fair, and we're going to go to court. We're going to take it. We need to understand the stakes of this argument because people do sincerely believe it. I guess people sincerely believe it, but we need to understand the stakes. The stakes are that this false argument and saying to people like you're asking me when I never said should undocumented persons, the word you're using is sometimes used as a disparagement of people, but it isn't happening. And it's important to be clear that it isn't happening because it's being used to take our freedom because they want to delegitimize our elections. And when you delegitimize our elections, really, you delegitimize our voices, our identities, and everything. So it's super important to push back on this false claim.
Let me chime in here a second with Bard. Bard, let me tell you something, okay? And I'm an immigrant. And I know undocumented immigrants and
Hold on.
documented immigrants.
Hold on. Are you an illegal immigrant or you are legal? Did you follow the rules?
Sir, I followed the rules. I got my citizenship several decades ago. I spent my time with a green card first, and then I went through the process of doing that. And, again, the process that I used was much simpler than what some have to do. Now, what I try to explain to all Bard is the following. There are reasons behind what's occurring on the border. And the problem does not occur on the border. When we have policies that destabilize other countries, these are the results that we get. But this requires intelligent and honest conversation. And a lot of what conservative brother did out of Oklahoma, the senator that came up with this balanced
Langford.
bill, Langford came up with, was a balanced bill that didn't make Democrats or Republicans happy because they went off of different beliefs, right? But they came with a balanced bill to handle this situation. And Brother Trump decided that, nah, we ain't doing it because it's going to make Democrats look good, even as it was a very conservative bill. Here is the thing: there are economic reasons from around the country that we ourselves, American policy, created. The rice policy in Haiti, the banana policies and land acquisition policies in Guatemala. We can name you specific types of policies why you get the kind of migration that we get coming to the United States. And until we are honest about it, it will continue. So what I'm telling you, Bart, I don't think you're a bad person, but and I also honestly believe that you believe there's a problem of undocumented people voting. I am telling you that's not the case. Undocumented people want to stay as far away from the cops as possible, as far away
Mhm.
from anything that will have people see them. And
Right.
it's a fallacy to believe that somehow there's a whole bunch of undocumented people voting. But I tell you what, it's not a fallacy. Voter fraud does occur, tiny bit. But all the voter fraud that was found in the 2020 election, go look it up. It was all people trying to double vote for Donald Trump. I gotta go, Bard. I gotta go to Harry. Thank you for calling, though, brother. Harry, come on in. I'm sorry for keeping you holding so long.
Well, that's okay. Great show,
Oh wait, hold
Huberto.
on, Harry. Harry,
Uh,
hold on, Harry, hold on. I want to give a big thank you as well to brother Richard, an existing person who called with a contribution. Thank you so kindly, Richard, for your kind contribution. Go on, Harry. And Harry, I have to cut you off a little bit because I want to get to Brian, and then I want to
right,
play a short video. Go ahead,
right.
Harry.
I'll say what I got to say fast. Great show from yesterday. I love James's call about this show, teaching us about civics, breaking you guys breaking it down about how big government can be your friend and marginalizing people with small government can't be your friend. And then we get music that Howard plays before the show starts, like Jeff Koshua and the IU song. Where else can you get that? And love Magic Jack's monologue. Love it when you have Neil Aquino on talking about local government and how big government, small government, the differences between it, and your input on big government and small government as well, Roberto. And it's just, as you were talking to Bard there about undocumented people, well, like you said, Roberto, undocumented people, they don't want to vote because they're worried about getting found out and getting deported. There's someone that I don't want to mention his name, but was talking about a talking point that works for someone that I know who was undocumented, and he didn't want a check from his employer. He just wanted them to give him cash because he'd have to cash that, and he's undocumented, and he'll get found out and get deported because he knows that he's not documented here. So that's just all false narratives, like as Neil Aquino was talking about, and Republicans do that to stimulate fear and try to find a way. Well, the Democrats are unfair, and they're cheating, and the election is going to be unfair, and that's why we lose. And I'll point out with the MAGA people, I call them Make America Hate Again people. These are just the descendants, and they've moved further to the right of the Karl Rove, the Lee Atwaters, the Ronald Reagans, the George Bushes, the Phil Grahams, those kinds of people, and they just feel that if big government helps the masses of people, they want to get rid of entitlement programs. They just feel it's like Arnie Arnson put it: "You're on your own, Jack." They don't, and big government helps people so that they're not on their own, and then they just want it set up for Wall Street and the big oil oligarch companies and plutocrats
Harry,
and real estate, so that these contracts and all that, so that government helps them. Or as I'll say this, as Tom Hartman put it, and as Jack has said on the show, and Randy Rose, privatize the costs, socialize the losses. They just want to
let me stop
privatize.
you
And as
there.
we were talking about the
Let me stop
government
you there,
land.
Harry.
Go ahead, Mr. Burr.
Harry, let me stop you there and just say this because I want to add to what you're saying here. And I like the direction that the DNC is going. Bard just called and Bard made some comments or whatever, and I don't think Bard at all is dishonest. I'm learning to think this way now, okay? And I noticed Clinton made some mention of that, and Obama made some mention of that. We have to get into the psyche of how people got where they are, because like if you really believe that most people are good people, you have to find out what those people fears are, and even if even if some of it is racism, right? You have to find out what it
Right
is that's
about
the genesis of that, and that's where I'm trying to be. I'm not trying to be anybody's enemy. I'm trying to see where people are to say how I can get all of us into the fold. And everything that you said is correct. Now, how do we correct that is the thing. Hey, Harry, I need to drop you. I want to go to
you getting all
Brian.
out. You getting all.
Let's go to Brian. And hey, Harry, I think I cut a little too quickly, but we'll talk another time tomorrow. Come on in, brother Brian.
Yeah, thanks to the people that donated to the station, it keeps it alive one way or another. Now, I'm going to go back to something the second caller, when I was on yesterday, said is it's not a knob that the president can turn to change the economy. It's called an executive order, and it's already been done. When Biden destroyed the Keystone Pipeline and said yes to the Nord Stream 2 pipeline from Russia, and then blamed the oil companies here in the United States for the high gas prices. You can't have a double standard here, man. Okay?
All
You
right.
can't do this.
Okay.
You blame the
believe
oil
it, sir?
companies. Go ahead. Shut me off. Go ahead. Shut me off after
I will
35
no
seconds.
Brian,
You just
Brian,
took
I
the
will
last caller 2.5
Brian,
minutes.
stop.
I'm looking
Brian,
at the
stop
clock.
arguing.
You gave the last
Brian,
caller
I was
2.5
not
minutes.
Brian, stop. I was not shutting you off. I was interrupting you. I was not shutting you off. Brian,
It's
are
the
you
same
there?
thing, man. You gave the
Brian,
last caller 2.5 minutes. I'm looking at the clock.
Brian, if we are arguing, you're not making your point. The only reason I was stopping you is to tell you that I was going to stop you for a station break in 3 minutes. Okay? Don't jump the gun. I'm trying to get us into this. Wait, stop. I'm trying to get us into having a civil way of speaking to each other. You are getting there, brother. Let's keep it there. Stop the shouting. I don't shout at you. All right? I respect you. Damn it, give me the respect back.
35 seconds.
Brian, again, stop it, Brian. Okay. All right. Let's go to Kevin.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hey, awesome. Hey, so I'm a new Houstonian. I'm registered. So I'm a registered Republican. So I'm just curious, since I'm sure there's a lot of people here that maybe are still undecided, but I'm curious today from your perspective, what do y'all like about Harris? Was there a particular policy or policies that y'all like?
Oh.
What do you?
Oh yeah, I can enumerate a whole lot of things, and if you let me go ahead and start, okay? And I let me ask you, what perspective are you coming from? A perspective that for me to really tell you the positive things that I think would be different under both administrations. I can answer the questions in that way, and let me start if that's what you're looking for. All right?
Just super simple.
All right.
Policy.
Okay. Yeah, super simple. We are going to get policies like childcare, right? We are going to get policies like health care that's not being overridden. We are going to get policies like we will look into on the immigration issue. We will look at it holistically and not just say lock them up or throw the key at them. In other words, we are going to get policies that actually are tested by intelligence. In other words, not bravado, but intelligence. That's the difference between what she has to offer and the word salads of stupidity. And I hate to use that word, but I mean the word salad of stupidity that emanates out of brother Trump.
Well,
Anything you can answer.
no, I'm really not calling to say anything. I'm calling to ask what the policies are
Yeah,
for the
and the
Harris
thing about it
administration.
is, if you want
Saying,
to know the policies, they're enumerated, my brother. If you really want to know the policies, they are enumerated, and we can go ahead and pull them down item for item. But what we have are real policies that are tested, real policies that would actually make the lives better of not only myself but you and just about every middle class American, because these are not just saying tax cuts that move money up to the top, as opposed to policies that help people, child care, child services, health care. All these items are parts of the policy basket. But anyway, thank you very much for calling, Kevin. Since you said you just wanted to hear what the policies were. The fallacy, before you go though, the fallacy that the right, oh, hold on 1 second. This is KPFT Houston. The policies that we talk about, I mean, or what's been put out from the right-wing media has been, get her to interview and talk about policies. Well, what they're trying to tell you is that somehow she didn't talk about it. Well, that is undermining the intelligence of the people who listen, because the policies are enumerated on a daily basis. Thank you, Kevin.
cool, thanks.
Let's go to Art. Come on in, Art.
Hi, good morning. Well, you know me, I'm a RFK supporter, and it looks like he's going to be tapping out because of DNC with their anti-democratic position of keeping everybody off their ballots. Helped pushing them off, running out of money, kept them out of New York, and it looks like he's just going to have to call it quits, unfortunately. But, you know, he gave it a good shot. We'll see what he actually says today. It is what it is. You know, it is America. You know, it's all about money. The threat to democracy is in a form of a female and a male known as Trump and Harris. The Democrats are, I just see them being more anti-democratic, more against freedom, and they gaslight so much. They know how to gaslight like anything. So it is what it is. I'm all right. Just wanted to share that.
I tell you what, when we're not in fund drive, Art, when we're not in fund drive, I really want to go over this with you. I genuinely want to do that. So let's hold that for when we're at a fund drive. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. One note I'll say, you know, I don't call usually because I'm not an emotional guy like some of your callers. Are real emotional or passionate. I'll say they're passionate about their stance, whether it be left or right or whatever. But I do see how you treat the guys on the other side of the red guys. What do they call them? Conservatives. Like Brian. Yeah. And you interrupted and you committed to that. You said you were going to give an ID. You didn't give it till 2 or 3 minutes later, and I don't know. And the guy before him, Harry. I mean, you let him, continue. And I think that there should be there was one time you did like a 2-minute warning or 2 minutes. You gave everybody a fair 2 minutes. I'm not telling you what to do, but my only input is give everyone the same amount of time. You know, some people want to say, a 30-second spill, which is rare. Some people want to have a 2-minute spill. And whatever it is, I mean, just give everyone the same amount of time, whether it be left, far left, right. That's it.
Okay, all right. Let me look. First of all, it's not exact, right? But when I see your name, I know that you're not a lefty, and I don't think I interrupted you. I did have to give a 2-minute. I wanted to get Brian sequestered because I know how Brian speaks. Okay, Brian calls in here every day, and there was a time that I did apologize to Brian. And I want to say this because I don't want to leave in the air what you just said, as if it's because I think what you just said was sort of biased against me. And let me tell you, and I want all the callers to understand that that's not the case. I come out here and I try to push not bipartisanship, but transpartisanship, which means anybody can call and say anything. And I think if you take a listen to my tapes, and I'm saying this for the public consumption, if you listen to the blogs, or not the blogs, but the tapes here, I give people the opportunity to talk, and I try my best not to be biased, including with you, who is a strong Kennedy supporter, which is neither Democrat or Republican. So I don't think what you said is accurate. Yes, this time here I interrupted Brian because I wanted to say something. I think I should have that leeway. Now, with regards to the other side or whatever, everybody gets a chance to talk. So that isn't correct, Art. I know you're despondent on what's going to happen with Kennedy, but I don't think that gives you the right to come and say, well, you're not treating people the right way, because I try my best to do so. And you know how I know I try my best? My left-wing friends tells me, wait, hold on. My left-wing people tell me that I give the right too much time. I've had people call in here and say, why are you giving all that time to those people that really don't give a damn about anything? And I make sure to give everybody their fair due, Art. So come on now.
You do. No, you do. You're pretty fair to an extent, but every now and then, I don't know, depending, I guess, what you start off your morning with or what you read. And I know Brian, he's passionate about his stance. But who is? I mean, everyone's more passionate about their stance.
Yes,
no one's
I
going to
agree.
switch from something. No one is going to switch. So I think all that, it's like saying, like, who needs a jab? I mean, that conversation's over. Whoever got it. Whoever didn't get it, it's done with. I mean, there's a lot going on. I mean, and I don't want to ramble on because I'm doing it.
No, it's all right, Art. No,
day.
Art. Yeah, I appreciate it. All I want to make sure is that the end of this discussion is all right. The end of this discussion is supposed to be this platform belongs to everybody, and everybody is going to get a fair shake. And if I screw up at times, I will. I'm only human, but I try to make sure everybody gets a good shake. Thank you, Art.
Have a good one. Thank you.
All right, great. All right, let me pass it on to Sandy before I get back to Neil.
Thank you, Egberto. If you have time to get back to Neil, we have 8 minutes left. We have 3 people that have provided donations this morning, and we need to hear from you. This is the last Thursday. We're going to come back tomorrow, and that will be it for pitching during the weekdays, during this program. And those of you that listen, that consume this program, I was hoping that more of you would donate this morning. There's still time to do that. We're still short of our $300 goal. That's not much of a goal after an hour and 15 minutes of Pacifica airtime at this hour. And there are lots of you listening right now. Please understand that KPFT is only here because of listener support. So if you're listening and you're enjoying this, or even taking part of this by calling up and discussing things on the air for 30 seconds or 5 minutes or whatever amount of time Egberto gives you, since we're having the Egberto not being a good referee of time this morning discussion, whatever it is that you participate in with here, please support it. You're part of it. We're all part of it. This station is very, very special. It's at the left side of the dial. It's a community radio station. In fact, our FCC license is a community radio license. And with that comes certain responsibilities and minimums that we have to meet and the content that we have to air. And I'm proud to say that KPFT's FCC report is a lot fatter than other stations. And this is a content report. This is a good thing, not a bad thing. We're not talking about extra places where we might have gotten off the rails. That's not how we report. We report on what we're broadcasting. And KPFT, amongst all the Pacifica stations, can brag of more of that content, largely because we have two channels, HD1 and HD2. And oh, by the way, Democracy Now! Is now airing on HD2 and will for the next couple of hours for election coverage. So for those of you tuning in for Democracy Now!, simply go to the Listen Now button, click it, and tap HD2, and Democracy Now! Will be airing. However, those of you listening here, we are in fund drive. We're trying to gather up enough funds to continue through October, and we need you to participate. A Politics Done Right t-shirt is $100. Radio station t-shirt, KPFT t-shirt, $100. The Summer Cruise Fund Drive t-shirt is a $90 premium, designed by Rico Hernandez, our stellar board morning operations person. It's a really nice design with a vessel cruising on the ocean and the KPFT flag behind it. Folks, it doesn't matter what the thank you is, because the biggest thank you of all is having this independent voice, this commercial-free platform, this license that we've been able to maintain for these 54 and a half years in Houston. That's the real treasure. A lot of people fought very hard to get it, and we're fighting very hard to keep it. And you can help with that. Give us a call. Red, blue, in the middle, it doesn't matter. This is community radio. This is the platform where we can have these discussions. These discussions might lead to some better understanding, and that might lead to a more peaceful community for us all. And oh, by the way, Egberto, my favorite policy that we're being talked about with the Harris-Waltz ticket are common sense gun laws. I think of all things in our society, having AKs and automatic weapons is an indication that we don't live in a civilized country, more like a lot of barbaric behavior. So that's my favorite, just chiming in. Back to you, Egberto.
That's very true. Folks, I want to welcome Eric Hayes, West, Alizarian Dreams. Want to make sure everybody knows she's a sustainer. Paul Fleming Sr., welcome aboard as well from Atlanta. All these are great supporters of the PDR posse. Hey, Neil, give me some commentary real there. Before we move on.
Great. Great to be here on another Thursday. Look up some of the stories on the report yesterday about Houston's suspended case policing. Maybe that's something we can talk about next week. HoustonDemocracyProject.com is my effort, and please contribute to Politics Done Right. You can do it throughout the day. Just make sure it's right. Going to Politics Done Right. Egberto spends a lot of time with the show and concern for the callers and preparation for the show. And let's keep it going.
Absolutely, folks. Call 713. We only have a few more minutes left. Give us a call at 713-526-5738. Extension number 1. Tell them that you want to give. If you can get a t-shirt. A t-shirt is $100. A Politics Done Right t-shirt. You don't have to pay that all at once. Just go ahead and say this is for, under the tutelage of Politics Done Right, of course. Or you can go to kpft.org. That is kpft.org, and select donate. And after you select donate, you go ahead and you do what again? You go ahead and scroll down to Politics Done Right in the name of the show you're supporting, and select what it is that you want to give. Folks, we cannot do this without you. I'm only at 3 contributions for this hour so far, for this show so far. I know you want to do better. We're ending the show on pitching, so you can go ahead and do it right now. There's no more content coming here, because I think we did our part. I had a video to show, but I don't have enough time to show the videos. But all 3 videos that were supposed to be shown today can be found at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. But right this minute, we need you to go to those phones right now, or go to those keyboard right now and support the program. 713-526-5738. Hit number 1 and say, supporting? What do you want to support, or how do you want to support? We are looking for sustainers right now as well. Again, you can give anything you want, but if you want to support us even further, make it be a sustainer. $5 a month, a coffee a month. You don't feel it, but your cable bill, you pay diligently every month. Many a times to be ill-informed, misinformed, disinformed. Every month, no complaints. We are saying have agency in politics done right. Have agency in KPFT, and you will feel. I'm telling you this. That early in my years, I've been a donor for a damn long time. I don't know if it's like a damn investment, you know. If I were to amortize what was given, not only in labor and volunteering, but in actual cash, etc., to KPFT, I don't know. Maybe I'll have a retirement by now. But I'm kidding around. But look, folks. No, actually, that's not kidding. But still, here is the deal. This is the kind of station Houston needs. This is the kind of station we need. Somewhere where we can get the unadulterated truth, where we can actually be a part of. You can be a part of. You can be a voting part of this institution by just becoming a sustainer. $5 a month, $10 a month, $15 a month. Think about it. And I guarantee that feeling of you making a difference in our, and look, you're also making a difference in our democracy. Because the things that we talk about, the things that Neil talked about with his Houston Democracy Project, the things that he write about, gives us that knowledge into what we're doing. So give us a call, 713-526-5738, extension number 1, or go to kpft.org. Let me go to Neil for a final pitch, and then we'll start to shut this baby down.
Great. Well, thank you for having me again for Thursday, HoustonDemocracyProject.com, and I encourage you to become a sustaining member. He gives Egberto Politics Get Right gives me a platform, and it gives all of us a platform to talk about democracy, politics across the ideological spectrum. It's a rare find in today's radio environment anywhere, including in Houston. And please, politics done right. It's well worth the investment, and please become a sustaining member.
Yeah, thank you so kindly, Neil. Let me pass it to Howard, Jack, and then Sandy, then pass back to me so I can close out, please.
Well, I don't have anything much to say, but what I do like about the Kamala ticket, the Harris ticket, is the child care. They're addressing child care because, look, when you have to work, you have to put your kids somewhere. And what that's doing is it's eating up what you're earning, a large portion of what you're earning. So if you can help out there, I'm all for it. Jack, what you got?
Well, what I liked about, I read this morning that she wants to forgive medical debt. That's cool.
Oh, I forgot to mention that, and that is the most important thing. Yeah, I Sandy there. Let Sandy give a final pitch for me.
Thank you, Egberto. Yes, I am. Yeah. Look, folks, it's really difficult keeping this train on the track. It's always hand to mouth, pledge drive to pledge drive. The Sustainer program is changing that slowly, but right now we're still well short of where we need to be this morning. We're going to shut this down on Sunday. I ask you kindly, take that step, go to the phone and dial 713-526-5738, or we invite you to look at kpft.org, click donate. A donation takes about 2 minutes to process. Join in at the basic rate of $35. For those financially distressed, you can join at $25 and become a voting member of Pacifica. But we need to hear from everybody right now, especially those that have not given yet. Do a good deed for all of Houston with your donation by enabling community radio to continue unfettered. Egberto.
Thank you so kindly, Sandy. Folks, this is your station. Give us a call at 713-526-5738, extension number 1 to donate, or go to kpft.org. Yes, you're asking. Tomorrow is my last day for this current fund drive. I'd like to make sure that I meet my commitment to the station. I want to earn my keep for this hour, because the only way we know that I've earned my keep is that if you say that I've earned my keep. So please give us a call, 713-526-5738, extension number 1, or go to kpft.org, hit that donate button. Do select Politics Done Right as a show you're supporting, and then give us whatever you can. Or I need to give a big thank you to Olive. Thank you so kindly, Olive, for your support. I love you. Thank you. I love all of my listeners, all of my contributors. Please donate. Now I got to move on. Love you all. Go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter for the rest of the show. Well, I can't say it that way. The rest of the show is at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Please also note that HoustonDemocracyProject.com is where Neil Aquino resides. And thank you so kindly. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.
We now join Democracy Now! In Progress on KPFT Houston.
Posing an existential threat to our planet when every single dollar in this country is meaningful towards creating the world that we want to see. And instead, billions of dollars going to kill children across the world